All right, so what are we going to talk about? Ooh. Oh, okay. So the idea, right, of reading, right? So you want, to build a foundation of knowledge. You want to keep, growing, right? They say that the education of you continues beyond, your schooling years, right? It doesn't stop, when the bell rings and your class is done, right? And you go home and your first instinct is to be like, oh yeah, forget school. You turn on the TV, you relax. But, that's arguably when the true learning starts. The learning that you initiate and that you control, right? Whether it may be, through books you read, podcasts, other videos on YouTube of other YouTubers that say some pretty insightful stuff, right? So why force yourself to almost stagnate, once school stops, and almost be, putting all your eggs in one basket, right? Is that term that you've probably heard of. So with that in mind, why would you just go to class and simply give up when it's over? Because that's what you're doing, you're giving up, right, on the rest of your day, which can be used or harvested, right? It's like a field of fruit, right? Imagine your days on a week, right, are these crops. You got one row for Sunday, one row for Monday, another for Tuesday, and so on, right? So you got those rows of crops, and within those are the columns. You got noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., each as a separate row within that day, right? A subsection. And those things are crops, right? They're time, right? They're meant for you to go and take and use to your advantage. And if you don't use them, if you just leave them there in the field and don't harvest them, guess what? You probably guessed it, they rot and they spoil. They're not sitting there forever. You can't go back to them after their time is up. So, when they're ready to go, when the clock strikes 10, and that fruit is ready, or vegetable, whatever, is ready for you to come, and collect it and use it, take it, right? Open that book, right? Because that's probably what you want to do with your time, right? I'm not telling you what you should and shouldn't do, but for me, that's one aspect, right? So I see an opening at 1 p.m. and what I do is I find, a set. I figure out, okay, what do I want to learn today, right? Is it financial stuff? Is it engineering? Is it fitness stuff? Do I want to learn a new workout, right, before I go to the gym, right? Because obviously you don't want to be figuring that out when you're over there, because it's just going to hinder your workout, which is another video within itself, right? You want to come there prepared. So, when that time happens, figure out what you want to learn. And, as you're learning, just like you would in class, take notes and figure out, what you're being taught in a sense. Because if you simply just go through it, without thinking and just read to read, and we're yelling, yo, yo, yo. If you just do that, you're arguably just wasting time. You're just throwing away, that harvest. You're not using that fruit or vegetable to its full advantage. It'd be like grabbing a piece of corn, right, that you just picked up, from a field, and you just eat half of it or a quarter of it. And for some people, it'll be like one little itty piece of corn out of the thousands of little pieces that are in one cob, right, of corn. So with that, eat that whole corn. Take advantage of that whole hour. Make the most of it, because guess what? That spot in that field And once you take it, and once, you know, as time has passed, it's over. It's done with, and you're not gonna get it back. So why are you gonna simply waste it? Why, you know, are you gonna literally let it slip? You know, it almost sounds, you know, like you're wasteful, like you're unappreciative. Like, why would you simply throw away time like that? Because it's so limited, it's so precious. It's literally the most valuable thing we have on this planet. Now, you can name any amount of money, anything, attention, whatever you want, but no, it's not going to equate to time. It's precious. No, don't waste it. No, don't let it slip through your fingers, right? So, you know, with that in mind, you know, use it. Write a schedule. Have everything you're gonna do in a day, plan it out. You know, so you don't accidentally forget, you know, to harvest that crop, you know, that instance of time that you have within that day. And make the most of it. Because guess what? You know, if you do so, you know, you have productive days. You know, when you look next to those other crops, right, for the next days, they'll probably get bigger, right? They'll have more opportunities because what you did today carries over to tomorrow, right? The knowledge that you picked up today or the work that you put in carries over, right? Or else it wouldn't be work. You wouldn't do it. It would have no reason. So within that, you know, when you look over, you know, at Monday, at Tuesday, when it's about to hit, you know, you can say that, you know, your work paid off, right? You know, those, you know, instances, right, of corn, those pieces, you know, of what you're trying to get, and they get bigger. There's more opportunity within them. Because, you know, I'd bring up, you know, an analogy of computer typing speed, right? So say, you know, you're typing today at 100 words per minute, right? You're typing at like a normal rate, but, whoa, you're good. Yeah, today you're typing at 100 words per minute, right? So then you decide that today I'm gonna try and type faster. I'm gonna dedicate 2 hours, you know, to typing as much as I can, because I know that if I do that tomorrow, I'm gonna type faster. I'm gonna type at 105 words per minute. I'm gonna type at 110 words per minute, right? So what you did today is gonna help you for tomorrow. And when you actually have to use that skill set, you have to write that paper, for whatever reason, you're more proficient, right? You can make more of that time because you're better in the end of the day. And we gotta, don't kill us. We're gonna do a double cross. Oh, that was risky. Let's see. And it also brings up like the concept of dividends, right? You've ever heard the concept getting paid dividends? And that's not by accident. You know, that wasn't created for no reason. Someone put in the work, and one day, right? And then one day, a following day in the future, they woke up and they noticed something. And you probably might guess that their outcomes got better. They started, you know, receiving benefits, you know, of the work that they did. You know, that, you know, rainy day in August or whatever, right? It paid them dividends. Dividends like, you know, stuff you receive at a later date, or simply, you know, the work that you did or time you put in, whatever, what commitment. So those dividends can be some of the greatest things ever, right? They're awesome. You know, who doesn't like essentially free stuff? Because that's what it's all about, right? You put in your time. And that's, look, I'll compare it to this. So you're working and you work, you get paid by the hour. You know, you got the $10 an hour, $20 an hour rate that you know you're gonna get. But when you work for dividends, and I wouldn't necessarily say you're working for it, but it's a byproduct of your work, you shouldn't be expecting it, really, right? You can take it into account, have it factored in, but you know, if you really want to work hard at something, right, you shouldn't be worried about the end outcome, the dividend that you're gonna get within a couple of years, right? That's to say, like, you decide today that I am gonna study, you know, business or engineering for the next 10 years of my life, and that may seem like a huge commitment, and that may, you know, cause worry for some, you know, wondering how they're gonna finance that, you know, how much time it's gonna take and effort and things that they could potentially miss out on, right? And I understand that, but you know, it's still the same work, right? You're just doing it, you're putting your head down in the sand and you're working, right, for those 10 years. You can't be peeking up and looking up, you know, from that 10. You're buried in there. You got to stay in there, because once you get out, like, you're sitting, like, picture this, right? You're in the beach and someone decides to bury you in the sand. You know, I've had that fun experience of doing that. And what you'll realize, right, when you're buried in that sand, you know, you have that weight on top of you. And guess what? If you stand up and get out of there, the whole thing is ruined, right? You can't look up and see how you look in the sand or how things are going. You got to be immersed in that sand. You know, you got to be committed to it. You can't give up on it. So, you know, when your time comes, right, when, you know, the sun, you know, for me, you know, when I would do that, I would hope a cloud would come over the sun as like my little reward for sitting out in the sand. And for some, you know, that little cloud covering the sun and cooling the day may take the form, you know, of a raise, you know, of a six-pack, of bigger biceps, whatever, you name it. But those dividends, you can't expect them, you know, to come. They can't be, you know, you going to the gym every day and checking the mirror, right, and looking for those biceps to come out. But for some, they really want to see that bicep vein, right? And a lot of people struggle in attaining that. They work very hard, they don't see it, whatever, and understandably, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do and obtain. But you know, you shouldn't be, you know, expecting it. You do, you know, 10 bicep curls every day, and you keep looking in the mirror, see if anything changes. Guess what? Your body's gonna look the same, but you're not gonna see it probably. For some, that might happen by magic, whatever. But I'm saying for the majority, you know, it's not feasible. So what you do is you simply just put in the work, right? You go to the gym, you blast out your biceps, you work it out, put your head down, put your headphones on, you know, shut up, don't talk to other people, although some can easily fall into that. But hold up, okay. Right, so you do that, and you know, within a few weeks, a few months, or years, guess what? You're gonna have progress, but you may not notice that, and that's fine. Hi, what's up? Oh yeah. You know, when, you know, and the way that happens, you know, and a trick that you can do is don't judge yourself, you know, because you're simply just doing the work, putting your head down and focusing, you know, on your work. You know, you'll have people come up to you and tell you, hey man, you look bigger, bro. And some will even tell you, hey man, you've been taking roids, like, and that's good. You know, you want to hear that, but don't expect it, right? Don't be eyeballing people and going up to them and talking to them, seeking that affirmation, because you know, you should be, you know, in the mindset that it'll come, right? Be confident in yourself. Know who you are, what your worth is. And, you know, from that, you'll have your day of reckoning, as they call it. Your day where you become aware of your progress, right? You obtain that, right? You build a name for yourself. And from that, you know, that might be it for you. That might satisfy you. Maybe make your dreams come true and everything. But, you know, until that day, keep working. You know, stay strong, stay hard, as David Goggins says, you know, his quote or slogan, catchphrase, whatever, right? Stay in the work, keep doing it, you know, fall in love with it, don't let it go, you know, don't get up out of the sand, you know, keep going, keep trudging, and, you know, you'll make it.